Alright, continuing our HTML5 canvas videos. Now we're going to look at transforms. These are real powerful techniques that are in most graphic libraries. This video is going to show you two transforms. The first is translation. That changes the coordinate system. One way of thinking of that is you take a fixed value and you add it to each x and y coordinate. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to translate the origin point, which is in the upper left corner in the normal system, and move it to the center of the screen, which is the canvas width and canvas height location there. Whoops, actually I made a mistake. That's canvas width divided by 2 and canvas height divided by 2. Let me just put that in here just to reinforce that for you. So that's going to be the center point, so half of the x and half of the y, right? If I actually translated it with canvas width and height, it would move the coordinate from the upper left to the lower right. Sorry about that, that's kind of funny, I did that. Okay, one moment. Okay, so I'm using the same kind of setup that I've had before. I have a single button on the form that calls the draw function. I had a fortuitous issue today here. I had forgotten to blank the screen using the clear rec like we saw in some of the previous videos, and I noticed a sort of neat effect when the graphic that I'm drawing draws over itself. So I've modified this. I'll explain that in a second. Let's go ahead and look at the transform code here. So basically I have the transform here done one time. Originally I had this in the draw method, but then when you recall it, it then tries to do the translate again, so we don't want that. So the translate, I moved out of the draw function. We get the canvas, we get the graphic context, then we call the translate. As I mentioned, here's the canvas width divided by 2 and canvas height divided by 2. And since my canvas here is 800 by 800, that means my center point is 400, 400. Okay, here's our draw function. I've got some variables in there. That's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's look at the actual drawing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the stroke style to a random color. And now I have actually two lines because I'm going to draw this twice. This is the fortuitous mistake that led me to a neat effect. So it turns out that if I draw my figure once with a thick line and then draw back over it with a thin line, I get this really nice effect where the line itself has a small kind of stroke line. This is actually real similar to when you're drawing figures. So you have a fill, and then you use the stroke to draw the line that goes around the fill. You actually have to do that in the right order. If you call the fill after the stroke, it overwrites the border. So this will create a kind of nice looking, almost tentacle-like curve here. So I'm using the Bezier curve, and basically I'm using my new coordinates. So I'm going to draw the curve from the new center point, which is in the center of the screen. And the first time I draw the curve, it'll go from 0 to negative 400, which is dead center, straight up, and negative 400 is right at the edge of the top screen. I should probably make that a little smaller, but it's okay the way it is. Then I just, because of this nice effect, I basically set the stroke style to a new random color, set it to a thinner width for the line, and just redraw it again. So again, to get this nice effect, I'm drawing the same thing over with a thinner line. Now, here's the part in the other kind of transformation. That's a rotation. And basically, these systems use radians for rotational coordinates rather than degrees. So if we know that there are 2 pi radians in a complete circle, this basically is going to rotate 1/16 of a circle. So I'm going to do this 16 times. If we come up here, we'll see that total line is 16. Total line is an artifact from the previous video, so obviously I could make that a better variable. I didn't bother to. Okay, let's look at how this works. I think you're going to like this. I'm kind of geeked about it, actually. So again, there's my canvas. It's 800 by 800, and here's the render method. And so actually, if we look, this is the first curve, and it's going from the new origin 0, 0 up here to negative 400, and then basically it does the rotation and it draws the same figure, and it changes the color each time. And this time we didn't get a nice effect with our double drawing. I'm kind of surprised at that. I thought I had taken care of that. There we go. Here's a nice one. So here you can see the effect of drawing it twice. First with the wide thickness, and then secondly drawing over top of it with the thinner one. And so what happens is the first drawing just sticks out over the edges. And again, the colors are random, so it doesn't always work nicely. But here and here you can see that effect. Again, I kind of discovered that it was, like I said, a fortuitous accident, because I forgot to put the code in to blank the screen before we do the redrawing, so it was drawing over itself. Okay, let's just quickly look back at the code and go over those transforms again. Okay, so again, the first transform is a translation. We only do that one time in this program, and so we translate the origin and move it to the center point. And then the second transform that I'm doing is a rotation, which I do each time in the loop after drawing the figure. So it draws the figure once in the thick color, then in the thin, then we rotate 1/16 of a circle, the loop goes through again and draws the next one. So the loop goes 16 times, and that's why I've got this set up to rotate 1/16 of a circle, so it goes around the circle. Okay, I'll put some other videos together for the other transforms. There's 2 or 3 more. One is called scale and the other is called shear. So I hope you're enjoying the videos and getting a lot out of this. Take care.